Thanks for coming. Glad everybody could show up. These guys out at the recycling plant did a great job with successing their process parts, relocating some parts to make it more efficient. So I'm going to introduce the people that we worked with this whole week. Kova Bowling, she's a recycling plant water treatment maintenance and operator. Corey McNamee, he's a Moffett water treatment operator / maintenance. Jason Gerard is an industrial control electrician. Dylan Foster couldn't be with us today. He's doing training over at the Three Stones for a maintenance class. Sam Nim, he's the water recycling plant maintenance scheduler / operator and maintenance tech. Damon McCurdy is also a recycling plant maintenance. And Tyler Johnson is a recycling plant lead. I want to give special thanks out to Bruce Lang and Jose Solidia. Both are recycling plant water treatment operators. They helped out with the 6S this whole week. There was a lot of stuff to go through, and we needed some extra hands out there to give us a hand. When we were going through a bunch of parts, I gotta up one on Austin here. When we were going through, walking through all the parts and all the shelves and stuff, we found it was a weird tool. I don't know what it was, but anyway. Nobody knew really what it was, and so Austin's like, well, I think that thing catches spiders. So I wish I had a picture of it, because it was a 10-foot long 2x4 with a box cut off the end of it. So, but he thought it was for catching spiders. So anyway, with that, I'll pass it on to Tyler.
All right, so this success event came from one of my personal A3s. It was for planning and scheduling. Essentially how we're trying to set it up is, prior to scheduling work for the technicians, we want to make sure all the parts, tools are on site, and we have job plans built for everything. So part of that, to make Sam's job easier as the planner, we wanted to go through and make sure that the inventory was out there in the open so you could actually see it. We needed some standard work built for doing inventory at the recycling plant, which we're still working on setting up, and we just needed to clean up the space. We had a lot of clutter, a lot of extra parts and materials that we just didn't have any use for, so our red tag area is just exploded, and we got rid of a lot of stuff in the process. So the reason for action for this success event is to improve safety and efficiency by right-sizing inventory and removing clutter. So I'll hand it over to Damon.
Thank you, Tyler. So what are the 6 S's? Sort, shine, set for flow, standard, and sustain, and then all encompassing with the safety as the 6th S. And then right now we got the current state, left brain, right brain. So in the first top left, confused stick man, tired, because he has to walk so far to get our chlorine parts and whatnot and take it back to the chlorine storage area, injector room. Also having to do with the DPS. It's on top of the tank. When we, like snow events or whatever, top of the tank gets iced over, so it's not really safe to be going in and out of that building. Next kind of 3 is just clutter stuff. So better, we try and organize things better. And then we had a storage locker that really just kind of collected junk, old PPE and stuff. So, and then random trash cans all over the place that were kind of out of the way and whatnot. So, let's give a round of applause to Sam Nam.
Thanks, Damon. Okay, so after we established our current state. We came together and decided what our target state would look like. You know, a big thing that Damon elaborated on was the chlorine parts. They were, you know, out of the way of where the work was being done. So we decided that, you know, we were going to move that. We wanted that back in closer to us. There was a bead blaster that hadn't got a lot of use, and it was just sitting there collecting dust. So that was another item that we wanted to focus on getting rid of. Tools, you know, the tool bench was in one area. The where the work was being done was in another area. You know, it just required a lot of steps to do that. So we then came all together as a group, created 6 different floor plans, layouts, and yeah, just kind of got together and, you know, chose where we wanted everything to be. So hand it off to Corey.
Thank you. All right. After we came up with the 6 plans. We got together again as a team and came up with a hybrid, basically the best of 2 ideas. And just the drawing here, we used these maps, and that's kind of what we mapped out for the best idea. This is before and after of, this is one big wall over here. You can see the before and after on the bottom. It was a huge bench that was just cluttered with stuff. The hand tools were over there, which didn't make a whole lot of sense since their main work area was on the other side of the shop. So we actually cut that table out. Damon did, grinded it out, and we took it out of the shop. So we cleared up that whole wall for the ladders, PPE, fall protection. And you can see kind of down here on the bottom right is like a hot work area where grinding and welding and whatnot, anything with sparks. And this is their tool area. So you can see the black toolbox we moved up there on the right-hand side. And we just totally reorganized this whole area. It was really cluttered. I mean, it was functional, but it was just not the best. So we straightened it up, and it's much, much better now. And now I pass it off to Kova.
So before we started, you can see in the picture on the left that the shelves are full of lots of containers. We did an event probably 4 years ago, and we had organized everything with labeled bins, but parts were in the wrong bins. There were bins full of 40, 50, 100 parts. We might use them 100 years from now. So we decided to go through and make a maximum number of parts that we would actually store at the site. And we cleaned everything, sorted it, labeled it. The PVC parts used to be on the left side by the stairs. Now they're on the right by our work area, so they're more accessible for us. On top, we've got a mezzanine. If you notice, it's completely empty in the after picture. We cleared everything out of that, and we're going to take that down so that we don't have the hazard of carrying parts up and down stairs. So as Damon was talking about earlier was the chlorine parts being located all the way out in the DPS. So I wheeled it off from the area we work in, the maintenance shop. It's like 1,200 feet to go all the way out there to get the parts across the slick tank with bare feet. So we decided to move all those out into the scrubber room, and so now they're much closer to the area that we need them to work with those parts. Jason?
Yep, I'm Jason. A couple of the safety concerns that got addressed, kind of took care of a couple things, was the on the top left picture, there's a rack up there that had a bunch of belts for the HVAC equipment. We pulled all those belts down because it was hard to get to them. There's tools and stuff in the way. You couldn't get to them from the floor, and you had to be up on the mezzanine, pulling down with a hook or reaching out and look for it. We pulled all those down. And then, like I said, we're going to get rid of the top of the mezzanine because we went downstairs with those parts. I did
what a success score is? Anybody need an explanation? We're good? Okay, so our success score before the event was 40. Our target was 100, great, kind of high. And after the event was 82, so we had a 49% improvement there. Cycle time, kind of targeted one of the events that we do on a regular basis. We have 17 chlorinators that are recycling. Through the RMP, we're required to rebuild those every year. We used to take cycle time 619 seconds, which is 10 minutes and 19 seconds, to go from the shop to the chlorine store, where we were storing the chlorine parts, which was the DPS out on the tank, and then back to where the work is being performed. We were able to improve that by 76%. Our target was 50%. It only takes 2 minutes and 30 seconds now to do that trip because we've moved those parts out to the near where the work is actually being performed. Average travel time and distance, that whole trip would take 2,957 steps or feet. Again, we were trying to improve that by 50%, and it only takes 505 now. That's an 83% improvement. Completion plan, these were some of the items that we weren't able to tackle this week. It was a big project, and so we have a couple things that are going to roll over into next week. Sam is currently working on labeling bins and making sure everything's right-sized. Koba is trying to acquire remotes. She's going to work with the trades to see if we can't get the garage doors put on some sort of remote control. Going in and out of the shop, sometimes the garage door gets left open. We're trying to reduce the amount of energy that's lost through the garage door, so we'll have garage door remotes on the trucks and carts so that we can reduce our energy consumption there. And then removing the upper mezzanine, David's going to coordinate that. We're going to take that whole top mezzanine off. We're reducing some of that extra space that people might put items, and that's part of the reason why all this clutter builds up. And then also removing the stairs so you have that safety aspect. Standard work, I'm going to work on that with Austin next week. And after that, we're hoping to get our success score up to above 90, ideally 100. Some insights. Feelings and learn, feel, and vision. Sorry. Okay, so learn. The importance of right sizing. So these were all just our feelings during the event, just in case anybody wasn't familiar. So what we learned during the event was the importance of right sizing. Less is more. What goes where. A lot can be done with the right people. We had a great crew today. We even pulled some of the operators in, and they're lifesavers. We could have done without them. Acceptance. We're all kind of a little skeptical of the success. Some people had a bad taste in their mouth from the 5S event, not going as planned, and then it just wasn't sustained because we didn't have that standard work built. And then the success process for many of us is our first success. So, and then feelings. We're tired, and there's still some tweaking need to be done. It was exhausting the second or third day. We're all excited the first day when we were drawing pictures and making maps and whatnot, but then once we tore everything off the shelf and we realized they had to go back on the shelf, it was, some of our, we were feeling pretty great at that point. So we had a little pizza party and we kept going and felt pretty accomplished after that, satisfied, tired. So, vision, Salt feeds into the Denver Water vision. It's excellence, vision, pride, integrity, accountability. We all realize that it's going to be up to us to make sure that this process sticks and that it continues moving forward. And then we're all pretty passionate about it. Mitigated some safety hazards and we learned the value of organization. Are there any questions?
Do you have a picture of your red tag area?
So the question was, is there a picture of the red tag area? I haven't heard everything you guys say, so.
That's fine.
We don't hear it, but it's over, it's huge. It just exploded. We were thinking one little corner would be okay. It's just kind of like blending in their stuff outside, their stuff inside. Worked with T&D. They love that big bench that we cut up and put outside. So Aaron was out there because they're bringing some spoils to where our potential fifth drying bed is going to be. Aaron Agrulo from T&D, and he saw it, fell in love with it, and they're going to come pick that up. Bead blaster, we're going to be shooting out an email to everybody. We have that bead blaster, we got to get rid of some other safety cabinets, and then a lot of PVC valves. Jeff Goalie was just ecstatic, and they have projects going on right now with the DPR, and he was running short on some parts because we're kind of getting stuff thrown at us from different angles, and so he was just going through the PVC and taking everything he needed. It saved him a lot of time. He didn't have to make the run out to Ryan Perko or Harrington. We had it all on site, and then after that, he was just going through all the things. There are 2 trash bins that Kova filled just full of PVC, so
Cleaning.
we set some limits on that. We only want to have 5 on the shelf, and then we have an action of 3. So once we get down to 3, we're going to reorder. The other thing that we did with the PVC was we set it off kind of so you can step back. Before, your aisles were maybe 2-3 feet wide. So when you're looking at the stock, it's right in front of you. And if you had shelves right here, you couldn't see because of your line of sight. So you'd have to bend down to actually see where everything was at. Now it's probably about this distance, so you can stand back and you can see all the PVC on the shelf. And that adds into that 30-second inventory. We can actually see what we have instead of having to like bend down, so you can do a quick walk by. Since we have those triggers set, we know what we need and what we don't. So.
So I saw your guys' work yesterday, and I have to say it looked really nice. It was a really nice, clean shop. I was jealous. But what's important when you have this kind of event, so you don't repeat what you did 4 years ago, is accountability and holding each other accountable to whatever you've decided. Did you come to a consensus on how you're going to hold each other accountable to this, I guess, baseline that you established?
Nicole asked me. David's going to do the shot. He's going to stand outside that hard zone. Nicole asked how we're going to be accountable with making sure that this kind of doesn't fall to the wayside. Austin and I are working on standard work. We're going to put together the inventory sheets. As much as I hate creating more maximums, especially when we're not really selling the assets, we're probably going to need a maximum for this and schedule it out. We haven't determined what frequency. There's been recommendations of possibly a week. If we do it for a week and everybody's comfortable with it, they know where everything's at, we might extend it out. New employees might be asked to go around and do it on a more frequent basis so they know where everything's at. But yeah, we'll create some standard work, create some spreadsheet or some inventory sheets, and then just walk through it with everybody, make sure everybody's comfortable, and then just stay on top of it.
Yeah, I would just encourage coaching. You know, if you see somebody who's maybe not bought in, you don't have a big personality, just have a coaching moment.
Sink in the middle.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the success score, and my question is that success score going to be visually posted in the area for people to see and update that on a regular basis?
So the question was, are we going to post the success score somewhere for everybody to see visually? Yeah. I hadn't thought of that, but I like the idea of it.
I mean, that might help answer sort of the accountability question. So if you periodically score yourself and you post the number there, then you can start to see if it's, are we staying, are we improving, are we going down, and, you know, then maybe.
We'll work on a frequency for doing that too,
Yeah,
because I'm not quite sure how often you would have to do that, so we'll look to.
I was going to be on a Shibai board. He doesn't know it yet.
All right.
Zach, do you have a question?
Are you guys going to have some kind of a computerized inventory? You mentioned inventory sheets. Is that going to be everybody marking off what they use or take away? How are you going to manage it?
I'd like to talk to Tad about that too, because I know the possibilities with Maximo or Angus, and there are places in Maximo for tools and inventory and whatnot. For the time being, I'll probably get a spreadsheet until we can work something out, because then I got to figure out what kind of software Denver Water does have to manage that kind of, those assets. Ideally, I mean, maybe Maximo might be the answer to that. Otherwise, we'll probably just start with an Excel spreadsheet. And then we're open to suggestions for all that too. Don't want to reinvent the wheel. Somebody's already got a process that works. So we'll be reaching out to some of the trades and treatment plants to see what they're doing. If they have a process that we can
Definitely encourage you to talk to Tad about that. There's lots of capabilities built into Maximo just for that purpose.
Yeah, and it's there, we know it's there, we just haven't really, so we'll be talking to him within the month or try and work that out.
Are you going to actually post by all of your inventory so you can make it very visual what your action levels for ordering is and that kind of thing?
Yeah, Sam's actually started on that. We got sheets on the end of the aisles. I don't know if it was on the photo on there, the photo was taken before he puts them all up, but it's got the action levels for everything. So, is that what you're?
Do you have it by the actual inventory though?
Yeah.
Do you have kind of something that visually shows you, okay, there's only 3 left, I should do that? Is it red or anything, like spots or anything?
It's currently just a piece of paper that's hanging out, but we'll set something up on that. He does have it for the PVC already, so it says this is the ideal level that we want to be at. So 5, no more than 5, and if we get below 3, let's say for the PVC, some of the other parts are different, like our valves are like 3 and 2.
So this is more of a, maybe a comment relative to that last subject, which is, I would ask you to question, do you need to track it electronically? Do you need a spreadsheet? If you have a shelf that says, I'm supposed to have 5, but it gets down to 3, I just order more to fill it up, why do you need to track it electronically? You can walk by and you can see it. Why would I spend the time typing it into a computer or putting it in Maximo? So it's a question for the team to consider. What's the easiest way to make sure that I have my stuff when I need my stuff? If you've already done the work to make the shelf so you can just see it when you walk by at a glance, you don't got to bend down and go, oh, there's only 3, I should order some more. As long as they get there before you grab the last one, you shouldn't have to count any inventory.
Yeah.
So it's a thing to ponder for the team to discuss.
Sometimes we're not going to see inventory coming handy, especially if you're going to work on a big job and you need supplies, valves, PVC, fittings, and stuff like that. I think it shortens the time where you have, instead of going to each bin, trying to figure out what you have, look it up and at a glance, decide if you have enough or not. Just when you create materials, that's, there are applications.
There's a lot of options out there.
So I want to thank this team. You guys have done a really good job. You can just see it up there going through the process and getting good results. And that's great. There's a really good insight that you said where you've got a mezzanine, a safety hazard, but then you went one step further and said, hey, that's an opportunity for us to just put stuff there and create ways to get back to kind of what you're talking about. For people to say, you know what, we're going to remove that, it takes a lot of faith and confidence that it's going to work out and you'll manage it. So that, to me, that's a really key point that you guys got it and did a really good job. And I'm not surprised because the recycle facility's been doing all kinds of really good stuff. So thank you for everything you did this week. I'd weigh in on the inventory question and say, you guys own that. You guys decide who you trust more, you and your eyeballs walking across and seeing it organized and knowing when you need to order something, or a spreadsheet or an electronic system telling you that you've got to put it in there and it's going to tell you what you need. My bet's on you guys, so you guys figure it out, you know it, and do what you want to there. That would be just to answer that question. Also want to say thanks to Justin. For folks that don't know, the trade shop leadership is doing internships in the lean office to learn the tools and to help folks get through events like this. And it's a really cool thing. And so I think this is the first one that you're second one you're doing there, so appreciate that and awesome job. So thank you for doing that. And thank you for the team.
Okay, that's going to conclude the 6S. I just wanted to also point out that I was privileged enough to not only go through this 6S event, but the prior 5S event. So I not only seen the shop evolve, the recycle plant evolve, but also the CI method. The first method, we came in, we tore a bunch of parts off the shelf, laid them on the floor. We got yellow, orange, red stickers. We stickered everything, separated them based on the sticker color. You know, green went back on the shelf, yellow was questionable, and red was throw out. There was no stickers. There was just a red tag area. So not only did the process evolve, but I got to see what I did in the first 5S also improve on this one. So I'm glad I was part of it. Anytime I get to go back out and work at Recycle with the people that I started out with this company is always a good thing for me. So I want to thank you for all you guys' hard work.